Hello and welcome back for another Torah Tuesday. Today we're in Exodus 5 verses 6 through 9, and as I've been doing in the past few videos, I'm going to start by reading my translation of this passage. So that very day, Pharaoh commanded the slave drivers and foremen of the people, saying, "No longer give chopped straw to the people to shape the bricks as previously. They must go and gather chopped straw for themselves. And the quota of bricks that they made previously you shall set on them. Do not reduce it for them, for they are slacking off. That is why they are crying out, saying, 'Let us go so we can sacrifice to our God.' Make the work heavy on the men and make them do it so they do not pay attention to deceptive words." Now, in a previous video, one of the very first Torah Tuesday videos that I made, I have already talked about brickmaking and the process of how bricks are made and why they're made and who's making them. I talked about the quotas, that we have evidence from ancient texts that they needed to meet certain quotas, that bricks were made by slaves, what happens chemically to the straw as it decomposes to strengthen the brick. And I've already done a video on what it is they're building. I've suggested that they're building storage facilities for Pharaoh's funerary cult. You can check that out in my video on Exodus 1 verse 11. Today, I just want to focus in on one part of Pharaoh's speech where he has a particular play on words. And I want you to think of this showdown as maybe kind of like a rap battle between Pharaoh and Moses. And they are, throwing things at each other, and it's very dramatic. So in verse 9, when he says, "Make the work heavy on the men and make them do it," that phrase, "make them do it," in Hebrew is vaya'asu, and vaya'asu sounds an awful lot like the next thing he says, which is, "so they do not pay attention." Not paying attention or paying attention is conjugated here as vishu. So vaya'asu vishu is kind of a rhyming or echoing sound. Make them do it, make them work so that they won't listen. And Pharaoh is obviously the one in this story who is not listening to Yahweh's demands. And he is the problem, not the people, but he mischaracterizes the people as lazy, and he mischaracterizes Moses and Aaron as deceptive. So this is classic gaslighting. So Pharaoh is the problem, of course. He is the abuser, and yet he is casting shade on Moses and Aaron and the people for being lazy and deceptive and demanding. Again, classic gaslighting. So I hope that as we dig into this passage, you get a clearer sense for why it is Yahweh is wanting to bring the people out of Egypt and why Pharaoh's response is problematic. This is going to help us understand God's approach to Pharaoh's heart. We've already talked a little bit about Pharaoh's hard heart in a previous video, and we'll be doing more of that as we go further. But we're getting lots of evidence as to how his hardness, how his injustice is playing out in his own day. I hope you have a great week.